It is absolutely crucial, essential, important for us to be able to feel vulnerable at work. And I'm going to tell you why, very simply. It is impossible to feel free and not feel vulnerable. I want you to imagine the following. You are in the middle of a mountain, it's green, it's beautiful, there's a beautiful valley below you, and you are walking, you're taking a hike, it's beautiful, sun's out, clear blue sky. You are completely alone. You're completely free. This is all that you've wanted. It's the reason why you are where you are. Everything is the way in which it should be. Then 5 dogs arrive. Are you still free? No. You immediately realize how vulnerable you are. You've got no support system. There's no one around you. And all of a sudden, it is danger time. So that's a fantastic example to explain to you how vulnerability and freedom sometimes they're different sides of the same coin. So now I want you to imagine a different story. I want you to imagine that you're in bed, you're about to fall asleep. You know that in between place where you know that you're about to fall asleep, but you're not completely asleep yet? It's like those couple of moments just before. And the thing that you've been working on, the problem you've been trying to solve immediately snaps into perspective, and you have what we now call a aha or a eureka moment, where suddenly the answer becomes absolutely obvious. You go for your phone or your notepad and you write it down. So, why were you able to be in alignment to be able to find that solution? It is because you were feeling free and safe, and also vulnerable. So when our mind and our body allows ourselves to completely relax, when we feel at home, when we feel most comfortable, we are also at our most creative and our most interested in what it is that's going around us without a lot of effort. And the reason for this is because the parts of our mind that would normally focus on keeping us safe no longer have to work. This is my argument right now for why it's so important for us to feel as comfortable as we possibly can and to investigate and invest time in creating an environment at work that actually encourages vulnerability. So there's this incredible director called Julian Schnabel, and he said this incredible thing. He said that anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. Everything in life has got a positive and a negative, a light and a shadow. And our price that we have to pay for freedom is anxiety and vulnerability. You can't have one without the other. So how do we incorporate this fact, this knowledge that we have about ourselves into our workplace? The other thing to remember is that when we feel in danger or vulnerable, we're also incredibly present. There's nothing quite as sobering as hearing a door open when you're not expecting anyone to be coming home. Immediately you are totally awake, immediately you are focused, and you are thinking of millions of different variables and options to be able to deal with whatever situation is going on in your mind that's coming at you. Not only are you preparing in 1,000 different ways of what you could be doing, your mind has created 1,000 different stories and scenarios about what is coming at you right now because you don't know yet. We're at our most creative when we are a little bit afraid. We're alive because then it matters, right? So what if we can harness this power? What if we can create an environment at work where it is both incredibly comfortable and it's okay to be vulnerable, but the vulnerability is still there. It is still crackling and simmering on the surface, and we still can harness that energy and use it for problem solving and creative endeavors that we have at work. But the truth is that if we want people to be productive, present, and feel like they're part of a community, being vulnerable is also incredibly important. So we need to follow our fear. And I love this thing because we would normally say like follow your truth or something positive or meaningful. Like following your fear is so important because this is when we rediscover ourselves. When we go to the edge of what we understand about ourselves, we find that there's just more of us. It's not like suddenly there is no Riaan left to discover. You go to the edge and there's always going to be more, and you get to explore yourself. Sometimes the easiest way to explore ourselves is in tandem or in collaboration with someone else. And the way in which we do that is by answering the following question. Do you feel like you can talk about your fears with your employer? Do you feel like you can talk about your fears with your team? These are important stepping stones to understanding how vulnerable you allow yourself to be at work. And if you aren't comfortable with your employees or your team members coming to you and asking you those kind of questions, you need to ask yourself whether or not you are harnessing their true potential. When we're able to have true, meaningful, vulnerable conversations at work without taking offense, with compassion, with understanding, with a want of the other person to feel comfortable and at home, when that becomes possible, everything about that person comes alive. Because what you're saying to that person is, all of you is welcome. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't have to change to be able to work with us. We all want to feel chosen. It's still school in many ways. We all want to be in the play, we all want to be in the team, we all want to be in the friendship group, we all want to feel accepted and included. What we don't want is to feel that we are included but that we are not welcome. In other words, it almost is the equivalent of your mom saying, "Well, play with Billy." No, you must go play with Billy. And you don't really want to go play with Billy, but you're playing with Billy because your mom told you to. That same thing carries on for the rest of your life, where sometimes you are allowing people into your space or into your workspace who actually you don't particularly like. I promise you that they know. And possibly the reason why you don't feel like you like them is because you haven't made the effort to get to know them, to find common ground, and to allow that person to be themselves, or for you to allow yourself to be yourself with them. This is acceptance, this is inclusion, this is the point of being able to harness the best of other people and ourselves. One of the things that I find fascinating is that when I ask someone, "Are you comfortable at work?" they'll say, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, when last did you talk to your boss about this and this and this that I know is going on in their life?" I go, "Why would I tell my boss that?" It is incredibly important for us to feel like there is a sense of empathy for who we are, what we are going through, and what challenges we are facing at work and outside. Why? Because we spend a third of our life at work. If we are not happy at work, we bring that unhappiness home. If we are not happy at home, we bring that unhappiness into work. There is no separation. If you want a little bit more info, there's an entire video that I did on this. We need to start looking at ourselves holistically. There is no separation, and if that's true, we need to start building environments that allows for our complexity, that compassionately wants to hear each other out, and that the stories and the parts of us that makes us incredible, that might not be necessary or professional, or all these ideas that we have that really box and roboticize our individuality, shouldn't be allowed anymore, because it's not conducive to what we actually want. We actually have robots now. There's no reason to be treating people like they are robots. We need to start celebrating the parts of our humanity that are absolutely irreplaceable. And part of that is what makes us afraid. Part of that is talking about who we are, what we want for ourselves, what we're struggling with, the real stuff in our lives. There gets to be space for that at work, or else everyone feels absolutely isolated. There's no sense of empathy, there's no sense of team, there's no sense of collaboration. Everyone is doing what they have to do instead of what they want to do. And the only way that you get someone to do what you want them to do is by allowing them to be who they are and to encourage that and celebrate that. That's the point. That's how we build happy spaces at work. Our fears lead us into endless opportunity and possibility that we might never otherwise be able to harness or celebrate. Our creativity lies in the parts of us that we never want to happen again, the parts of our story that we never want to happen again, but also in the fantasy world of what we don't want to happen right now. Understanding what we don't want is a fantastic way to understand the world that we wish we lived in and that the world that we really want and the value that we wish we could give. This is true for everyone. But it's lost if we do not encourage and appreciate the bravery of people who are ready to go there and to go into those spaces and to share the parts of their story that they wouldn't normally talk about. That's when an environment becomes family. That's when an environment becomes creative and strong. That's what we want from our teams. That's what we want from ourselves. We need to learn to encourage this in ourselves, and for our teams. We all have an interior world that society has made us believe we should keep to ourselves. It is not conducive to much. The risk that we believe is inherent in creating a cold working space that is outcomes based has proved itself to be ineffective. It is not a way in which to lead. So what's the alternative? The alternative is that we accept and celebrate the fact that the interior, our insides, want to be out. We are happiest when we can talk about anything at any time, when we have learned that that's okay, because we need to unlearn that it's not okay. It's not natural for us to be this sheltered and separated from us feeling authentic. There shouldn't be this two personalities, our work personality and who we really are, as if it's something that we need to protect. We get to encourage bravery and creativity with the authenticity of the people around us. And the truth is that the truth will come out either way. Either being said out in the open or passive aggressively finding its way into arguments or all kinds of things. If you guys want to take part in this, just go say hi, tell me how you're feeling, what this brought up for you, what you thought about it, and then I will come back to you. I'll say hi, we can have a conversation. That'll be cool. It's kind of why I'm doing these videos. And then, if you really liked it, click like, because that's why it's there. And then if you want to see more of me, which I hope that you do, and that this is useful for you, else why am I doing this? I enjoy it, but do you enjoy it? Subscribe, that's good. And then if you never want to miss the next one, there's a bell next to the subscribe. Click on that. That's the money. That's the money. All right. Beautiful things. Take care. Have a fantastic time. And I'll check you soon. Bye.